Hello and welcome back. It is time for Dust 2 between VG Gaming and BOOT. So some nice deagle shots from BOOT on Cash, but it wasn't enough to take the map. It was taken by VG. And I think that VG, they're looking like the stronger team over both halves. So I think that BOOT, in terms of decision making, can they get their plays in the right place on BOOT's CT side to deal with VG's T side? Looking at the game of Cash, I do wonder. I think it will be a simpler affair on Dust 2, so perhaps we will see a stronger BOOT in that regard. I really don't know. All players are on a server. I don't think the knife has taken place just yet. What are your thoughts here, Dan?
I was just told, I didn't realize this, I was just told that DSN, who's an old Swedish player for Fnatic in the 1.6 days, very famous player, playing at the top of the game in 1.6, is actually the coach and manager of BOOT.
Oh, really?
Who lives in China.
That's cool.
That's cool. Oh, you can see my plate there on the camera. Got some beef stroganoff in there, James. The catering is of such a level that they can furnish beef stroganoff, which is so legit. It's really
pretty good.
Yeah, one of my favorite dishes, in fact.
Catering it here is just OP.
Yeah, but that's really good because we were talking previously about some of the challenges of that region, and DSN is absolutely a guy that can bring some real CS know-how to the region. Yeah,
so it is very important to have outside eyes for your team. So they're definitely stepping in the right direction in that regard. The knife is about to take place. We'll see who starts on what side here on Dust 2. If you are just tuning in or whatever, make sure you are following or subscribing if you're on Twitch or YouTube, so you get alerts when we're live. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell as well. That was nice.
Is that it?
What else is there?
I don't know. Just double checking.
Oh, shall I make a Monopoly reference that makes no sense? How about that?
Well, you can.
Boots
I don't think
cards.
You need to steal my references that don't make sense. You've got plenty of your own to dispense. So
very good, very good. BOOT won the knife. I don't know how much it matters on Dust 2, really.
Yeah, this will be really interesting. I think, judging from some of the shots that we saw from the likes of Bulbasaur, if that's anything to judge by, it should be pretty fun, this map from BOOT. But you do, for me, I'm definitely thinking VG should be a good steady hand on this map. They will start on the CT side though, and I feel like, just as they said on the desk, this is a map that can snowball a lot. So you've got to be really cautious about that. And it can be difficult to prevent it if you have a bad start on the CT side and you start force buying. You're not going to have AWPs. And if you don't have AWPs, your chances to win rounds goes down significantly. And you can get really punished for that pretty hard by the T side. So we'll see the pistol with the Glocks here for BOOT come to a head here towards the A site. A split is the name of the game. Freeman caught between two sides here. Allowed a lot of time to take these shots. Looks very patient, but patience will not help him. It will be apparent that maybe nothing can help him or his team in this round, as Fancy will be eliminated and BOOT go 1-0. So the worst has happened. That economy game for VG is going to be really, really rough, and I hope they don't force buy, because
look how quick these frags came in. Look at that, just like
easy
5 seconds or something, and it's 4v1. Such can be the nature of Dust 2. VG not off to the start they wanted. BOOT happy for now.
I don't know about double scout though. I think that's just I think that's too much.
I agree.
I think it's risky. The scout is not as dynamic, and it can be high risk as it is, a sniper, and it also will not kill in one shot. Especially as these players have decided to force buy, so you won't be able to get that one shot potential unless you hit the head, which is difficult with the scout. And we've got creeping through mid. Mid is one of the danger areas when you're playing against a force buy, and a timely flashbang will do the job there. Lovey taking matters into his own hands. That's one of the scouts gone. And Bulbasaur committing, and that's a 2-for-1. Or a 1-for-2 if you're VG, and they're loving that. Nice flick shot, but if VG are smart, they're not going to offer anything up here.
And now they have a scout, the CTs, along with their man advantage. So this is weird. territory for Boot. That is such an important frag for Benkai. The 5-7, if you fire it fast, who knows what's going on. Headshot from Splash. That will certainly help. These players are not tagged at all, so Lovey with this scout is not going to be as dangerous as he otherwise might be. Another one bites the dust. And Z8Z has nothing really to offer for the remainder of this round with 4 HP. So maybe he'll try and get an upgrade. It's difficult with the ranges. If you're not going to buy a rifle, to pick the right weapon on the anti-force buy instead of a second scout like an MP7. I mean, maybe Galil, depending on the money. I think
also it really depends on the kind of rounds you want to run. I think, you know, if they run a classic round where, you know, again, I think Team Spirit were a good example of how you can, like, they had some really good rounds, and a lot of them were based off these long takes. And long is like great because you don't have to concern yourself with anything on the, like, there's no like real corners that can be very problematic. You can't really get backstabbed. You know, everyone, there's a lot of space for your entire team to move up together and trade together. And one of the things that Spirit did, which was really effective, was they would send a smoke onto short from long, and they would send a smoke onto CT spawn from long. And so that's really good because if you double smoke crossover, there's a lot of potential that the pistols can pop flash through it and do a lot of damage at close range. But the CT smoke is really effective at maximizing the advantage that you have with the rifles when you're in a round like that. So I would like to see that. And you know, this round is not, you know, you don't have to, you can pretty much get away with anything as it's just USPs. So that's why I'm sort of still talking about the potential on that previous round. One of the dangers is when you go middle, because middle you have a bunch of different corners to worry about. You've got the two close angles by the doors. You have the CT angle on the right, and then you have also the angles on the left, and also there's a lot of potential for pop flash plays if the CTs hear noise around middle. And that's sort of exactly what we heard. And that, you know, doesn't sound as alluring as the prospect of just taking long with some nades, which the CTs can't really do anything about, and then just, you know, playing through long, which, you know, everyone can play together and you're minimizing risks. You don't really need to find a pick when you're against pistols. You just need to find ways to get positioning onto a bomb site. So moving into the current round, we got the fast play into B. This is a shock and awe, and it might just work out. Shoking is in a position to slow it down, and in fact, they'll abandon the push, and that's fine. They've got a 1-for-1, so you don't have to commit to your initial game plan. The situation has changed. They were moving into an unfavorable position, and they realized it, and they pressed the big red stop button, and they've managed to now sort of open things up by taking position around the map. So leaving someone in dark is useful to prevent any CTs pushing, and having control on short is also useful because now they know that there's no one on short. So that eliminates some of the positions that you can potentially expect CTs. Now, if you have short and you've got two players, you've got nades, there's always the potential to take long. And then, of course, impression can sort of help them to split onto the A site. And so it does look like that's what they're going for. And again, they can smoke CT from long. I don't know if they know that smoke, but and Fancy, it's a big play. Big play from Fancy. Very big play. Able to take down Bulbasaur. And 40 seconds remain, and they have to go with Impression's push, and he won't get it now. So will they go towards B here? They don't have a smoke. If they had a smoke for the cross, this could still be a very strong round, but they have to cross it with no smoke. And the double peek works out, but you can see that there's just so much coverage here, long range from the CTs. It's just not going to be all that successful. Such a shame they didn't have a smoke there. But, you know, to be fair, it was their plan C at that point, so you can't blame them for not having utility at that stage of the round. So 3-1, or 1-3 I should say, as VG just won that last round, and their money's still not very good. Some damage was done in that round. And the AWP is out again here. Splashkey on that one.
You saw they did not want to sacrifice a smoke grenade in middle to cross and use a flashbang instead, as a smoke has a different purpose. Shoking lost early. 2 smokes around the B bomb site. That won't pull additional players though. Lovey feels comfortable for the time being. Nobody in mid for the CTs, although Freeman is keeping an eye on things from the slope of A. And now moves into CT spawn. They've caught more of his attention, it seems. Boot investigating towards the short area. Okay. All standard stuff so far. Boot showing more presence. But now we have two. Look at this. Okay, sort of boost. So let's see, it is a split to B as well. And Freeman has the angles towards the window position. That was not expected. And you see some other teams have a second smoke grenade to avoid those ankles being held by a CT. So that's a massive frag from Bulbasaur. Going nuts again. Speaking of which, Lovey takes the bomb out. 30 seconds and Bulbasaur's on his own. Zed will come in from the back and shoot him in the back of the head. So we saw the mid to B smoke from Boots. There is a second smoke you can throw, which lands on top of the far box. So if somebody is boosted, they can't see so well towards the window. That was missing and caused problems for the T side and puts them down in a situation where they only have pistols. No grenades bought either, so I suppose it will be Jules. Benkai taken out top mid. Splash not far behind him.
Yeah, I fear for Boot that they may be losing grip here. They had a very good potential at the beginning of the map to sort of begin to snowball VG. And VG have played it really well to bring it about to this sort of position where they're starting to get economic dominance very early on, despite losing the pistol round. And, you know, they're supposed to survive with 4 or 5 in this round, and that's obviously going to put them well on the way to having some more security. And also, you know, having a position where if the worst does happen, they can rebuy orbs and so on as well. That's obviously really important. And Lovey doing the right thing here. They're just playing. They're playing a very passive setup. This is super safe. Like it's very unlikely they'll concede a bomb site here unless there's a crazy 1-deke. That's really the only way this will work. And looking at the time on the clock, that's why Lovey's now thinking about the incendiary, because he's thinking, look, if they haven't pushed by this point, they've got to push soon, so I'm going to kill more time with the incendiary. Doesn't it have time to pull it out, though? The peak does come in, and they'll clean up the remaining players. And the score is tied, 3-3. And now this is a critical round for Boot, because you know, they're obviously going to spend all their money, but they need to do a lot of damage and get a bomb plant, really, ideally, if they want to keep VG honest. Looking for the cross. And it's a whiff. As so often it is. Ooh, 2-man short play here coming in from VG, and they do give up long, though.
Benkai's behind the box, the shoulder peek, and that forces the CTs away because the shot is missed. And indeed, long has been taken by Boot with 1:30 on the clock and nobody holding angles towards the short position. Boot are in a very good situation to split the A bomb site. And VG, oh, they're going for a retake in long. They know they're compromised towards short. I think they wanted to have Freeman on short, but they may have noticed a Molotov previously. Look at that from Boost, expectant of the push from the CTs. And that is almost a wipeout. Freeman in trouble now. Benkai on the short position. Looks like they were lining up a smoke grenade for the CT spawn area, but the Molotov on short will stop it. Freeman's got to be careful. He's exposed towards short. He does land a second shot, though, and keeps it on in the 2-on-2. Impression has to... Does he throw the bomb over, or does he run over himself? He runs over himself, which means that they've conceded long possession and short.
And where does that go? Oh, it's not quite deep enough. Maybe it's doing a little bit of damage here or there, but look how weak Benkai is and has no idea about this flank. Impression now stuck on the site. 1 versus 2, has to get the taps. Able to scalp 1, but it's choking to have his head in the end as he looks to get the defuse as well. Really nice. And just think about how critical that AWP frag was from Freeman just before he died. His back completely exposed to short, and he gets that guy he could barely see in the smoke. Such a huge kill. And that's really a kill that makes the difference in VG's success in the end there. And the bomb plant at the same time makes a big difference too, because without the bomb plant, I don't know that we see the buy here for Boot, because look at the utility. They could barely afford anything. They go for a fast push in long. There's an entry, but they got to keep the momentum going. They don't have utility here. They've got to keep getting kills. Although things will be denied and they'll slow it all down.
VG retreat to boost in the short position. And Freeman is going to take up, he's going to post up there. With the limited utility from Boot. They had previous nice Molotovs on short in previous rounds, but there's no challenge. Nobody's in short just yet. Splash looking to see what's going on towards the B bomb site in case there's any push in reaction to their early pick. So Boot being meticulous. They've got no flashbangs. How will they deal with Freeman in the short position? Oh, just before the flash goes off, Shocking slightly early there. They were lining up for Z8Z, just the one kill though. And now Freeman's attention is towards that long position. He spots the second player there and the bomb. But once again, he gets picked off from short, just like the previous time.
Lovey can make this work though with that frag. And AK would be so useful, but... oh, he does, oh, there's no smoke. Incendiary is nice, but the smoke is really what's needed to combat the AWP. Flash being thrown up high. Oh, the AWP shots missed. Maybe there's a chance here for Lovey. Got to be perfect though. He continues pushing forwards, and now they start to hide. They try to bide their time and try to delay as much as they can as Lovey goes over the box. Still searching for these frags. Oh, I thought he had that one, but Splashkey will deny him. And a needed round there for Boots. And they have kept up the damage. There is no buy here. Just after 4 rounds, 1 in a row, a single lost round is a save situation for VG.
Yes, they've given themselves some opportunity here. These tight rounds, Freeman's really tried to force the advantage back for his team with these plays towards long, but Boot keep getting long and short, and that's going to be a problem for Vichy moving forwards. Impression, Benkai and Splash moving up that short area. Bulbasaur will finish off the job there with peppering from the Mac-10.
I like how he just wants to eat, like he doesn't want to like go to cover because he wants to actually get the kill. So he's just like happy to just jump around whilst he's reloading. It's amazing. Clean. Clean as can be. So far at least.
For now.
Ooh. That's not going to work. And there it is. Oh, Tommy, no less, with 4 HP, chasing it down. Got to respect that. Made a lot of money in that round with the Mac-10. And the Mac-10 might continue. Okay, maybe... Okay, it won't. The Mac-10 will not continue. As Splashkey has a really good spawn if he wants to go for that really early B pick. But it looks like he's going to go middle. And if he does that, someone could try to go for a fast timing down mid. Because there's no AWP on VG and they know that. So running down mid for a fast timing is very, very good when there's no AWP on the CT side. But they'll instead emphasize long, it would seem.
Tommy charging out, but Fancy's in the pit. CTs weren't able to... Ooh, the wall of smoke. Nice to see that back in rotation. Doesn't quite work out. Maybe done too early this round. As normally it's on later on to isolate a pit player from a potential crossfire set up from the CTs and then take him out. Safer than you might... Oh, Shokin can't afford to mess up grenades like that. Lovey's in a really tight spot now where he could have taken the aggression, but this time we'll lose. Shokin doing the best he can, but that's an open B bomb site. Bulbasaur and Splash moving in, 2 versus 3. Smoke on the door. They've got a Molotov post-plant if they want one. Fancy's on a long rotation from T-spawn to tunnels.
Ooh. Going for those preemptive picks. Not going to work out though. Single flash on the T's. Couple mollies here for the VG. That's useful. Can they make this work? Splashkey just very panicky, looking all over the place, and they'll all miss their shots on the T side, but not VG. VG will survive with 2. They'll pick up the AWP. It's a nice upgrade, as well as the AK and the defuse as well. So good job by VG, and I mean, it's going to be... Their money's just never been great, but at least they get the offer.
That's huge from Impression. Splash keeps missing those AWP shots, man.
Yeah, he looks very panicky.
Yeah. Well, they've already had a map to get past the nerves. Not really the result Fancy wanted there.
No, not really.
Because it was like he was jumping to bait the shot. Then he did bait the shot.
a classic one and done there.
Yeah.
And that also shows you how important it is to try to peak that position that Freeman was standing in ASAP, because it forces out the smoke, and that's really key. If you force out the utility early on the CTs, it's really difficult for them to play the rest of the round out. And this is a good adjustment. That's brilliant from Lovey. They needed something, and he's going to deliver it, equalizing the numbers. And that will force Boot into the A site, it seems, but Freeman's waiting with the AWP.
Nice. Can he reposition? Oh, where's the bomb gone? Has it fallen down? The bomb's in T-spawn. CT spawn. If you're the bomb carrier, you can't be that close to the rail. People should know that by now. Thrown back up again, but he loses position, and he goes down for it. That's massive from Splash. This is where he needs to deliver. He knows one player is on shore. He may not realize that two are. Commits to the bomb plant. And Z8Z, ooh, interesting. Lovey's chosen to go a different direction, but maybe it would have been a huge bait if he had let his teammate go on his own and then crept out. Oh, Splash, he sees his head! Oh, he's so close! He got the no-scope off, but Lovey will manage to clutch it. There is the round for Flash, but it's so expensive.
Wow. That was, I mean, after everything we've seen from Splashski, that was so much better. He looked like an actual AWP here. This is brilliant. He looks so much more comfortable than in some previous spots, even though he was 1v4. Good attempt, good attempt. It's now 6-5 though, and with the defuse victory and the AWP collected, once again VG will have a decent enough buy. But I mean, maybe Fancy's going to be on a FAMAS or a UMP as well if he wants grenades. But Boot, their money is finally running low. So any impression that can afford anything. So they should really do like a half buy and buy next round instead of this one. Yeah, indeed it was a FAMAS for Fancy. All right, so we do. So 2 players going down to $1,000. Well, around about $1,000. Not sure about that, but we'll see how it works out. If they get a bomb plant, I guess it's okay.
Big if.
They don't have any nades, though. That's the thing. Like, if you're going to invest money, you do want nades. Oh! Okay. Well, that's a good start. Who needs nades?
Alrighty then. Now, how much will they invest in a long position to close in on the site? They've got a Molotov out of it. And Impression has an AK-47. That is pretty much a perfect landing, but Freeman battle sniper. Takes down the AK, spots a player by Plateau. AK's been collected, and now Boot is starting to back off. It was always going to be a challenge to make anything work, really. I mean, let's just bear in mind, they got a deagle shot on long. But moving up long to the site, no grenades to cross, no way to force anybody from their position or blind them or anything. So what are you going to make work for you? It's got to be Operation Human Shield, really. Jump and run distraction. I hope your teammate can trade. The P250 is going to be delightful in this situation. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, Dan. With the investment they made and no grenades, no flashbang. No matter what you do, even if you buy that utility, you still need to take risks, but more risks will be taken.
Yeah, you need like 2, right? At least 2 smokes. What would you say is the minimum?
I don't know. For a round like that on Dust 2, I don't know. Need to think about it. It'll take too long for me to provide an answer right now. Shoking shot through the door on his way to the B bomb site. Could get finished off by a grenade later. But for now, Boot seemed to be interested in long A. Z8Z.
He's there. Freeman as well can lend a hand. And an AWP. Oh, that's miss smoke. That's too deep, and that's a frag for Freeman because of it. There's a second smoke. Oh, I suppose it was supposed to be the wall, but the second one was so late.
It's interesting that he was leading out with the bomb there.
Yeah.
Even if you have intentions, it's not like it's a rush to the site itself. So I don't know that you need to show that so early unless their intention was to show it there. But they've had to give up the long position. Ben Kai's been holding short in the meantime. Now, what is the plan here for Boots?
Boots.
Mid to B? One smoke on Benkai. He's lining it up. Fancy lies in wait. Ooh, perhaps the smoke will pull rotation into the middle area where Benkai is on his own. Can he find Fancy though? Very tight angle from Fancy. He'll deliver the kill. In the meantime, the push comes in towards the B bomb site, but they are stuck in the choke point. You've got to run wide. You've got to have somebody run wide. Otherwise, you just line up and take a ticket.
I got to say that, you know, VG have been in a lot of awkward spots. And if we think about how many times you look at their buy and like they're winning rounds, and then but 3 of their players, or they keep losing so many players that they win a round and 3 of them have only enough money to like, if they want full nades, they have to buy a UMP or something. Like that's happened a few times. So despite all of that, they're doing quite well, and they can absolutely get to that 10-round mark now. And they've got 2 AKs as well as the AWP, and finally, you know, some amount of bank in the hole. So BOOT, they're going to have to figure something out here. It's been good to see Freeman doing so well, actually, because I didn't really note too much from him in the previous map, but here we're seeing a good performance from him. And 2 MP7s and 2 CZs and an AK. That's a peculiar buy. Let's see if it can do some damage here. I guess it's going to be the B split again, and it could work out pretty well. The B players are quite isolated, actually. The A players are really far away here from this push. This is going to be pretty tough to hold.
Must not have been expecting a second B split in a row. And this time it will have more success. Shoking in the smoke, managed to make his escape and pick off Benkai. That is more than you could possibly ask for. Z is literally other side of the map, but you can quickly change that coming down the mid position. Splash in a very strong position. There's one Molotov on the CTs for the 4 versus 4 retake.
Oh. Throws it deep though. You wanted it close, get rid of Splash Ski, but they couldn't have known perhaps exactly where to throw it, and it seems like there will be no way back in. Freeman takes one on the side of the head. And yeah, they weren't ready to defend that B push. It was very fast. It was really fast timing. But one of the things that can trigger you to think, okay, it might be a fast round, is if you really keep a very good track of your opponent's economy, because that was a force buy basically. So if VG had you know, a force buy in their mind that they're playing against, I think maybe they expect faster plays in that round.
A nuisance grenade into B. Got to be careful with that as a CT because the Ts can boost behind it.
Ouch.
Ouch indeed. An exchange of high explosive grenades. Freeman down to 8 HP. He must be very careful indeed. Shoking delivering a kill. Bulbasaur just going wild through middle doors. Trying to catch somebody off guard. Not sure if he heard a reload or something, but that won't work out for him. 5 versus 3 now for the VG Gaming side. Smoke grenade might buy Freeman some time, and ooh, that should have been a trade kill, surely. Charging through the smoke like that. Fancy sees ahead. He is in red HP though, he's got to be careful. Impression still on the short, and Boot needs to make a play towards the site.
Yeah, maybe it's not such a bad position to play with 12 HP. I mean, he's sort of was trying to play head for headshots there anyway, so. But 2 players left. Ooh! Shoking, almost getting picked from the air there. Benkai with the short plant, so they're going to try to go back to short where Shoking is. Fancy will make his way up. Or maybe Fancy will get an angle here. Yes! Oh, but he can't get a frag. Oh my god, Lovey was the guy that was supposed to do the damage, and Boot have somehow extracted 2 additional rounds at the end of the first half. That is very good going for them.
Yes, I think that's a good situation for them. We don't know what to expect on the CT side, but we will soon find out. Just one round between the 2 teams. Who is going to take the pistol? Bulbasaur's picked up dual Berettas. I mean, is he? I can only assume he's playing a position where he expects that a rush might be possible. Okay, he's going towards the B bomb site with a smoke grenade as well. So if he puts the smoke down early, then he can body block and spam with the dual Berettas. There is the smoke, and indeed, he's basically doing that. Just using the wall in case they spray through the smoke as well. 1, 2. 2 is pretty good. And 2 more spotted.
Yeah, that's really nice info. And frags, of course. Always going to help. And back to B, it would seem. So the Julies might get some action after all. And there is a headshot. Lovely stuff. Hasn't even got... That's the default skin. The Julies going for more. And look at just trying to... He only fired 2 bullets there. Trying to really control things.
The discipline.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Oh, speaking of which...
Where are your Julies now?
A nice shot. Oh, he's so weak. Freeman's so weak, but it's all about the headshots. Benkai needs to eliminate him quickly. Flash comes in from a teammate. Another flash from a teammate. And now it's just Lovey. And there's no love to be had on the B-bomb site. 8-8. And Boot will tie the score.
See what they choose to do, VG. No one's bought anything just yet. Will anyone buy anything? A late buy, perhaps? Very late buy indeed. Is everybody going in for this one? Yes. They just finished their buy, so I don't know if there was some discussion there or if they weren't too concerned with doing something quickly. Impression will be alone towards the A-long position. Can't shoot all his bullets. Oh, he runs out, man. Just the 1 kill from that. That's not enough.
Yeah, it was cool to see him be patient. It could have been 0 quite easily too, but he was very patient, and that's definitely good. This is really interesting because I mean, really, the buys for both teams look pretty even. Fiji can get themselves into some close quarters. They're going to be very dangerous with the weapons that they have, well, minus the scout, of course, but. And having long does threaten the A site, and that affects the rotations. So I like the idea that they're going to try to maneuver towards the tunnels here a little bit here. And that's a nice backstab from FACEIT. Benkai now spotted towards B. So what's the call here? 45 seconds. They can still get away if they want. And B is obviously always going to be an option as well. They're in the middle of the map. Tommy's in a very dangerous position if they decide to go short. Splashkey's looking to get the info, gets the tag as well, almost a second shot, and there's Tommy revealing himself, and he is going to spray him down with the UMP. That will be that. Boots will secure the 9th round.
Battle of the Scouts at the end. I love a good scout battle. Right then, VG will be in Eco Town for this round. They won't have the money for a sniper rifle in the next. Krieg would be fun on Dust 2.
Yeah,
clean
Krieg is
$3,000. When you get a 1-tap, it's so satisfying. It's unbelievable. And you got to feel like the other people must be triggered by it as well. Get shot in the head immediately.
So, it's all about to be over. Oh, hello, there's a frag here. Oh dear. That's actually pretty damn nice.
Was he spamming through the door?
I think so, yeah.
Well,
really, and standing too close at the same time.
He deserves to die.
Yeah, that's a mistake. If your reload takes so long that you can't get back to cover after shooting, then and you're spamming something where there can be abusive reload, then yeah, mistake. Mistake. 5 AKs out now for VG, and it's a very slow one here. They'll try to make their way very quickly to short, actually. This is a fairly fast timing to get onto short. Ooh, very nice flash for Tommy, forcing him back a little bit. He can take a lot more angles if he chooses. Another flash to force him back even further. Really good work here. 2 flashes, and they force Tommy all the way back.
All the way back.
The only problem is that they just don't have a huge amount of utility this round, and they only have 1 flash now. But 1 flash well placed can be enough to get them onto the A side if they coordinate properly. Ooh. They're going to threaten the B split, perhaps, then go short. That could be good.
What does Impression choose to do? Oh, he's been spotted. He was between decisions. What smoke is that?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. That's very odd.
Oh, someone needs to learn some lineups, put some post-it notes on the side of their monitor, perhaps. Trade in the middle position, and VG going back towards the A site, but there is an AWP waiting for them. And they are getting wrecked. Freeman now 1 versus 4, trying to pick off the AWP. You could see him prioritizing the advancement to try and catch the AWP out of position, but now he's got to go back for the bomb. Bulbasaur jumping onto the short position. Oh, he's waiting in case there's a rotation. So it seems that BOOT are content to allow him to plant the bomb. And which one does he go for? Which duel? He'll go for the duels long. He'll be taken down from short.
I like the idea of the rounds. There's only one problem, and it's just that they didn't have the utility to play around like that. The utility. So if you're going to play around where you're going to threaten 2 bomb sites and then go back to 1 and pull rotation, to do that you need enough utility. It takes a lot of utility to do that properly, and that's what they were doing. They threatened a B split after forcing the guys back on A. That was brilliant. So that was the first step. You take away information by forcing Tommy all the way off short onto the A bomb site. Now there's no info for the CTs. Then you go and you know what they did was they threw a B split smoke, which was really awful. so I don't know if that really hurt them as well, but you know, they threaten the B split, then they go quickly back to short where the CTs have no information. So what they've done is they've isolated 2 players onto the site, but you have to assume that there can be an AWP there, and you need enough utility to then properly flash and smoke those positions when you get onto the A site. If they just had a few bits of utility there, it could have been a really good round, but they just didn't have the utility for that plan. So they needed to do something a bit more simple, unfortunately for them. But I mean, if that smoke had been good on mid, maybe they could have just gone B. Because they had 4 men out there on mid. But yeah, BOOT will take a 3-round lead now. Speaking of lack of utility, James, there's 2 smokes. 1 smoke.
I think it offers an interesting predicament, thus, too, when it's a case of buy AKs and have little utility. Because of how open the map is, people may prioritize the duels. But you take long, for example, and then you've got long duels, likely versus an AWPer on the A site, and those are not the duels you really want to take no matter what you have. So maybe there you want to get your flashbang spam in, but indeed there is a distinct lack of much of anything here for Vichy Gaming, and they may pay for that later on.
Yeah, it's one of those spots where if you think your opponent's good at Counter-Strike, how are you expecting to win a round when you have, as you said, you don't have the ability to spam flashbangs and so on, and no Molotovs. The Molotovs are super important on this map, on just every map. You're basically saying, yeah, we think that we can just take aim battles against your AWPer, or you know, or we can gamble and try to avoid him. And they're going to try to walk B, which could work. It could absolutely work here. The flash is good. Oh, the lineup! Oh, it's not going to work out very well at all. The lineup is great. The Incendiary did a huge amount of damage, and I've seen that before, where a team buys no utility and they're like, oh god, what do we do? And they walk into B and then just die.
Lessons to be learned. Even some Galils, if you want to shy away from the SMGs when there's so much range on the duels that you're likely to be taking, just get 1 or 2 Galils out at the very least. Yeah,
I mean, you can run set pieces with CZs as well. Like, just have 2 players, CZ, full utility, 1 AK guy who's got a bit of utility, and then just set piece A. You know, it's very easy to take short. It's not difficult to take short with minimal utility. They did it with 2 flashbangs before, right? So, and short is all you need to set up a set piece. And at the very least, then you guarantee a plant. So, either way, they will try to run into B once again, and they will get annihilated.
They threw the smoke on that molly as well, but then didn't really commit to it. And I do feel like that tunnel is narrower than it used to be, so the spray is easier for the CTs when you have grenades there.
Yeah, and that's 0 rounds claimed by the T side still on the second half. Boots are quickly approaching 16.
Difficult times for VG. They have a full buy now, as far as grenades are concerned. They've got the 5 AKs.
Yeah.
But This will be interesting because we get to see what a difference the grenades can make. So we have a direct comparison to the rounds prior to see what VG are capable of. So that will be interesting. Will there be... Okay. So there's a fast boost from Splash. Many players going into the underpass, but where's Splash going? Oh, I think he may have gone a bit too far, perhaps, on that one.
He went very deep, didn't he? And this is a crazy, chaotic round. So many people dying. So we'll get into this in a second. But it's a 3v2 on the B bomb site, so they've done well enough to trade out in the chaos. But this is still very doable here for the CTs. These players, the Ts are very weak. They don't have a huge amount of health. 22, 31, 73. There is an incendiary on Tommy if they know where to place that. You definitely want to, if you have two, if you place it on plateau, at the back you place it on just below the window. Two really good spots. There we go. That's perfect. Oh, it might actually kill him. Indeed it will. He'll burn down. And now they're into the bomb site. Tommy in a 1 versus 2. Can't get it done though, but it was a good effort. And that's 9 rounds for VG. But in a round where they have 4 utility, James, I think half of them died without throwing it because they run an incredibly quick round.
I don't know what the Splash was doing. I think that's a lesson in poor timing. To jump into mid from short. When do you need to do that as a sniper? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Yeah. What is the...
They have money, but you don't want to give things up for free.
Especially because it's very clear that VG have been struggling. Like, really struggling.
Yeah, you just don't need to make it easy for him to kill you so early in the round as well. An early 4 versus 5 in favor of the T side is huge.
And this is interesting because there's been a lack of presence towards A long in the recent rounds, so that's been a push for Tommy. Speaking of push, is also a push in upper dark. So they pushed the 2 extremities of the map, and VG, they get punished massively for this. This is a risk for sure by Boot, but it's paid off in large amounts because the positioning of their players now is pretty damn good. They've got impression checking on middle from CT now, and there'll be a B split here for VG.
Impression trying to buy time with the flash. Again, that's not the first time we've seen the like ill-timed. It's taking too long to figure out what he wants to do when that smoke comes in towards the CT position. And we've got 2 players lining up, getting shut down. Is he good for the 3rd kill? No. Shooking on his own on the B bomb site. He's got to go and collect the bomb. There's got to be an angle on this, surely. Not just yet, but there's a meaty grenade. And this time he will show himself. And the CTs can start to advance. Beautiful. Splash playing it from a careful position. That's a massive headshot from him. 14-9. What does this mean for the money? Oh boy, that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Freeman, AWP, no Kevlar, no nades, nothing. And they'll just buy around that what they can. See, this is what I wanted to see. Just get the CZs instead of whatever else, and that can allow you to buy grenades. And with some nades, you can start to take positions, force CTs off of positions, force rotations. Shoking, oh, this peak. Not ready for that one. Tommy having a great time. Previously, he'd been flashed off of this angle, but finally he's allowed to play it, and it's big for him. He's got some support with his teammates in the form of nades. They'll shut off this position. The CZ is good, though, to trade out the frag, but it's a 4v2 here for the CTs. They're still loving life right now.
Benkai looking up mid, spotting one of the 2 players there. It's Fancy not with the bomb, but Fancy's gone now. And Benkai will rotate towards the B bomb site. Play it safe, and Freeman is hunting, so Benkai looks like he's going to peek the window position, but Freeman's seen nothing. There's one place to look. Where does he go now, Freeman? He's got no grenade. Maybe there's someone fallen bro. There's a player CT, they would have heard him by now. Something for him to think about. He's trying to bait out some shots. You'll often see Guardian stand on that box when he peeks towards the site, because obviously it's an elevated position, which means he's more likely to get legged if he is to get shot than to be shot above the waist. Nothing doing no for VG in that round, and it's match point. Sorry, it's game point for Boot.
Yeah, only 1 round by VG. Like, what we have seen so far is definitely the sign of a underdeveloped T side, but obviously stand-in and so on, it does make it a bit more difficult. But this has been pretty huge for Boot. Now just the pistols to deal with, and they can eject VG from Dust 2. Flashbang at the ready. Tommy looking away, actually blind choking. Oh no. Oh my god. That's a disaster. That's such a disaster. What a way to lose a round, James. You blind your own teammates, they all get shot in the face.
Yeah, absolute brutality in that final map from Boot, and it did start to look somewhat comfortable towards the end there. So we are going to be going to a third map. Inferno will be the third map in this best of 3 series. What did you think of that map, Dan?
I mean, it just looks. I think that last moment where we see VG flashing each other and then all getting shot in the face by the CTs who don't get blinded at all, I think that really sums it up. VG were not ready with the T side, and they have a stand-in, so they're going to have difficulties like that. And that is a huge opening for Boot.
Yes, that will give them a lot of confidence going into the next and final map, so that will be coming very shortly. Quick reminder, it is Inferno as the decider in this best of 3. We will see you back here shortly.